the session. Radhe Radhe Nitin ji, over to you.
Radhe Radhe. Thank you, Pallavi ji, and thank you, Madan ji, for a wonderful session. Looks like we had a concluding session. They say all good things come to an end, but in spirituality, good things keep on becoming better. Okay, there is no end. It just keeps on becoming better, deeper, bigger, fresher. So thank you again for the wonderful series that you did, and I'm sure it will continue for the benefit of participants in the years and weeks and months to come. So welcome everybody to today's edition of Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita. Hope you're having a wonderful start to your day or had a great day. We will continue on the shlokas that we are doing. So 4.7, 4.8 go hand in hand, right? If you have seen Mahabharata in your childhood, these are the shlokas you can resonate to fairly naturally. So we did a fair amount of discussion on shloka 4.7. Today we'll move to 4.8, okay, to really know the secret or the underlying objective motive or agenda of God. Okay, even God has agendas, like we have agendas in life. Every day we wake up and say, okay, this is what we want to accomplish. God also has an agenda, and we will go through that today. So welcome again. I'm going to share my screen and we will get underway. Share my screen. Let me know when you see it.
Yes.
Wonderful. So we'll get started by invoking the blessings of God and Guru like we always do. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanurmardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Okay, Radhe Radhe, good morning, good evening, everyone. Let's get started. So today we are on shloka 4.8, 4.7. We did a good amount of discussion on the shloka. So let's pick up this one and I'm going to recite it and you're welcome to follow along. We'll pick up few hands. Paritranaya sadhunam Vinashaya cha dushkritam Dharma sansthapanarthaya Sambhavami yuge yuge. All right, do we have any hands?
Yes, we have multiple hands as it's a very popular verse.
Okay.
Radhe Radhe, Sandhya ji, please go. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe Sandhya.
Paritranaye sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge.
Thank you. Very nice, Sandhya.
Radhe Radhe, Shyam ji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, Shyam ji.
Radhe Radhe. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Radhe Radhe.
Very nice. Thank you. Radhe Radhe, Shyam ji.
Udit ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Radhe Radhe, Sunita ji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Pranaya sadhunam vinasaya duskritam dharma samstharpanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Thank you very much.
Rahul ji.
Radhe
Radhe
Radhe.
Radhe. Please go ahead. Yeah. Can't hear you, Rahul ji.
Rahul, your audio may have to be fixed. May want to rejoin.
Yes. Try. Yeah. Meanwhile, I can go ahead.
Sure, sure.
परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. Radhe
Radhe Radhe. Very nice. Thank you, Pallavi ji.
Dinesh ji, Radhe Radhe. Please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Dinesh.
परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. राधे राधे.
Dinesh ji, Radhe Radhe. Thank you.
Sam ji, Radhe Radhe. Please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. Pritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkartam dharma sanstapnarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Radhe Radhe.
Great. Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Keshav ji, Radhe Radhe. Please go ahead.
राधे राधे.
Radhe
परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. राधे राधे.
Thank you, Keshav ji. Radhe Radhe.
Rupa ji, Radhe Radhe. Please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe everyone. Paritrāya sadhūnām vināṣāya ca duṣkrtāṃ dharma samstāpanārthāya sambhavami yuge yuge.
Very nice. Thank you, Rupa ji.
Lakshmi Prasanna ji, Radhe Radhe. Please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe everyone.
Radhe Radhe.
Paritrāya sadhūnām vināṣāya ca duṣkrtāṃ dharma samstāpanārthāya sambhavami yuge yuge. Radhe Radhe. Thank you.
Thank you. Looks like you have taken Rupa ji's position today.
Seema ji, please go ahead. Yeah.
Radhe Radhe everyone. Radhe Radhe
Radhe
bhaiya.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe
Seema.
Radhe. परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे.
Wonderful, Seema. Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. We have, how many hands do we have?
We have 4 remaining hands. We'll just.
Okay, let's freeze 4 and then quickly take those. You know, it's a pretty
Falguni ji, Radhe Radhe. Please go ahead.
Radhe Falguni ji.
Radhe Radhe. Paritrāṇāya sadhūnām vināṣāya ca duṣkrtāṃ dharma sansthapanārthāya sambhavami yuge yuge. Radhe
Very nice.
Radhe.
Thank you, Falguni ji. Turning on your video as well. Okay, let's take the remaining
Thank you.
3.
Yeah. Riya ji, Radhe Radhe. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे.
Very nice, Riya ji. Thank you. I see Monica ji and Komal ji together. Huh? You're looking like twins today. All right. Let's take Pragi ji and Lata
Pragi ji, Radhe Radhe. Please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. Thank you. परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. Sorry, meter change.
No worries, no worries. Yes, Lataji, last but not the least, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe Lataji, please go ahead.
राधे राधे
Radhe.
राधे राधे मेरी
Radhe
आवाज
Radhe.
आ रही है
आवाज आ रही है.
Radhe Radhe,
ओके
Roger back. Please go
जय श्री
ahead.
कृष्ण परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे.
Very nice.
Radhe
Thank
Radhe.
you. Radhe Radhe. Thank you, Lataji. So let's get started. So if you remember previous shloka in 4.7, Lord Krishna had said that whenever there is a decline in righteousness and increase in unrighteousness, O Arjun, at that time I manifest myself on earth. And in conjunction to that, he goes on to add, that means, see, he says to protect the righteous. That means righteous people are still there. However, they are in minority at that point when he descends. And then to annihilate the wicked, which is unrighteous people. And to re-establish the principles of dharma, I appear on this earth, age after age. That means these principles need a re-establishment periodically. Okay, that's essentially what happens. Now let's get into this shloka, deeper meaning of this shloka, get the discussion going. Let's talk about the different avatars of God. Now, God takes avatars and he does manifest himself periodically from time to time. And those avatars, they fall into different categories because the purpose of those avatars, the way the manifestation happens, and the way sometimes he chooses somebody to act through those, that dictates the different categorization of the avatars, right? So let's get started on the different kinds of avatars of God. They are broadly classified into these four categories. One is the Avesha avatar. We've spoken about that, right? When God manifests his special powers through an individual soul and acts through him. Like Sage Narad, he's an example of Avesha avatar. Buddha is also an example of Avesha avatar. Sage Narad is considered the Manasputra of Brahmaji himself. But who is that? Basically, God is acting through that. That is called an Avesha avatar. Buddha is also considered as one of the 24 avatars of Vishnu. See, it doesn't mean Vishnu only had 24 avatars. Hari Anant, Hari Katha Anant, and Hari Avatar Anant. But broadly we classify, for simplification and for our reference. God has had innumerable, infinite avatars. And we have avatar only from a reference standpoint for our Brahmand only. We don't know what is the stories of other Brahmands. Right? Brahmaji, depending upon the heads of Brahmaji, the magnitude or the expanse of universes. And our universe is governed by four-headed Brahmaji, which is the smallest universe. And we don't know, not even about our own planetary system, forget about our constellation, galaxy, Milky Way, and then the entire expanse of universe. And there are universes which are like million, billion, trillion times bigger than our universes. So it's a mind-boggling thing. So the God has avatars in all the universes. And one of the four categories is where he picks an individual souls and acts through him. Narad, Buddha were examples of that. The next category of avatar is called Vaibhav avatar. When God descends in his divine form and manifests more of his divine powers, Matsya avatar happened, Kurma avatar happened, Vara avatar happened. They are all examples of Vaibhav avatar, where they, some more qualities are manifested for a specific purpose, of course. So these avatars fall into that category. The third one is called, this is an interesting one, Prabhav avatar. Prabhav means it has an impact avatar kind of a deal, I guess. That is what Prabhav it says. There are descensions of God in the personal form where he displays some of his divine powers, and there are two categories of these Prabhav avatar. The first category is where God reveals himself only for a few moments. Like he comes and he goes. He's not going to stay. Okay. Continue to stay on the particular Brahman wherever he's taken avatar. So he comes and and vanishes. Like Hans Avatar is an example of it, where God manifested before the Kumaras answered their question and left. So it's like an express purpose. You come and you go. The Ambar Avatar that happened, Draupadi, when Draupadi episode happened, he came in as an Ambar Avatar, fulfilled the purpose of that avatar, and then left, right? Otherwise, that cloth, right? After that, if cloth had stayed there, it wouldn't have served any purpose. Lot of cleanup to do, right? People would have had to. So the next category of avatar is the same category is avatar remains on earth for many years. Vedvyas, like he's Chiranjeevi. Vedvyas, who's written all the Puranas, all the Upanishads, all the literature, courtesy whom we are able to read Bhagavad Gita today. So Vedvyas, 18 Purans, Mahabharat and Vedas, he compiled the Vedas. Ved Vyas. Vyas means compilation. He did not write Vedas, he compiled it. So he's an example of such an avatar who's going to stay forever. Right? Vedvyas was an integral character in the Mahabharata, and he's very much alive. I think he lives in Badrikashram. I don't know if you can set up a date with him or meet him or get to speak to him, but he's alive. And the first Jagat Guru of the modern era, which is Jagat Guru Shankaracharya, actually went to meet him, did Shastrarth with him. And then Vedvyas said, now you are qualified to, be a Jagat Guru and start preaching. So Vedvyas is alive. And last but not the least is the most popular category, which is called Pravashtavatar, in which God manifests all of his divine powers in his personal divine form. Lord Krishna, Lord Ram, Narsingh Avatar, they all belong to this category. Right? This is the most popular one, where God comes and stays here, reveals his leelas, and does a lot of things that we are going to talk about today, and then leaves. Right? We celebrate Janmashtami, Ram Navami. People, when they are obsessed with fear, anxiety, they do Narsingh. Arati, it is said the fear, you can start getting better at dealing with fear if it happens. So God avatars has a purpose. So if you see, there are different categorizations of God avatars, and each category has a specific, manifestation and a purpose that it is trying to serve during that avatar kal. And that is what God is talking about. I descend periodically. And now we are going to look into why God descends. Like I was talking about, we all have some kind of an agenda in life. Every day we have some kind of an agenda that we wake up to. Today I'm going to cook this, or somebody thinks today I'm going to eat this, or I'm going to do this. Similarly, God also has an agenda when he comes. And when God comes, his agenda is multifold. Okay, so if we have to go to market, let's say we have to get milk, and then we have to buy vegetables, and then when we have to meet that tailor where we have given our clothes for some kind of a work, or we have to buy something else as well. So we don't take multiple trips. First we'll go buy milk, and then we come back again, we buy this, right? So similarly, when God comes, he does a lot of things, multifold things in one trip only, one descension trip only. And we'll try to look at that today. So the first thing that he talks about is to establish dharma. God is saying, I come here to establish dharma. That is the first point that he has given. The second point he has given is to annihilate the wicked. Okay. Establish dharma to annihilate the wicked. And the third thing he's saying, to protect the righteous. Annihilate the wicked, to protect the righteous, and to establish dharma. These are the threefold agenda God has stated for his descension. Okay. So this is the straightforward thing. Now let's play a devil's advocate here. Okay, what God is saying here, not devil's advocate, but let's try to question him. We are making this statement, but do you really need an avatar to get this accomplished? So the true meaning is, in this case, and then only saints can tell you, right? Now, when you talk about establishing dharma, dharma is eternally described in the Vedas. He's already given us a manual, right? When the creation comes about, the manual comes along with it in form of Vedas. So now one can say that, okay, Vedas are there, but we can't read Vedas, right? Our intellectual and ability does not commensurate with the knowledge or understanding required to assimilate Vedas. And how do we do that? Then in order to do that, he can establish it through a saint, which happens anyway periodically. There are so many saints that descend as well from time to time. And why would he have to come himself in his personal form to accomplish this, right? If a prime minister has got one of his cabinet ministers who can get the job done, why would prime minister take a trip all by himself to get something accomplished? That is the question, big question, right? So he can get it done through the saints. It's a very straightforward thing. Then he says to annihilate the wicked. All right, fair point. Now God is all powerful. Does he have to come down and do all the drama to kill the wicked? Why should he have to take an avatar to accomplish it? That is also a question. Now, the very definition of God is the basis of our life. He's the soul of our soul. He's a super soul. And if the super soul just takes it away, the soul has no existence whatsoever, right? So why does he have to take on an avatar and do all the battles and stuff like that, right? It definitely makes up for a good viewing for kids and adults as well, right? When you look at all the fights going on between Ram and Ravan and Krishna and all those things. But does he really have to take on an avatar if he has to annihilate the wicked? He can make the air poisonous or the water poisonous for them, right? Or he could simply depart from their soul while they are sleeping and people will say they had a silent heart attack, right? He doesn't have to take an avatar to do all that drama. And the third point that he's making is to protect the righteous. Now, God is seated in the hearts of his devotees and always protects them from within. He is seated within. And there's no need to take an avatar on it. He can guide you intuitively, he can inspire you, and he can protect you even otherwise if he has to, right? Yogakshem, he can get that done. He gets it get done through a saint, but he has well within his ability and capacity to get that accomplished, to protection of the righteous. Does it mean then only when I will descend in my personal form in front of you, I'll be able to protect you? No, that's not the case. Then why is he saying that? What is the real secret behind the descension of God is what we need to understand. So let's talk about it then. The real secret about for God's descension. Okay, so before we get into the other one, to establish dharma, he can do that through saints, right? That's a pretty straightforward thing. Then why is he coming down to do that? So the real purpose of that is he's establishing dharma, right? But then he's also giving a basis for that as well. He's revealing his nature. He's revealing his nature. What are his likes and dislikes? How does he go about? And that gives us a basis for devotion, right? For the years to come. That, okay, Lord Ram acted this way. This is how a Maryada Purushottam should look like. Or Lord Krishna, he would dance to the tunes of gopis because they had unbridled, selfless love for him. Okay, so that is the whole idea about God's descension when he talks about establishing the dharma. What is the mode of conduct or the rules of conduct for which are appropriate for human beings? He reveals all that stuff through his leelas. And that is why he comes here, where even after he has left, people can relish his pastimes, narrate it, talk about it, and uplift themselves. So that is the whole idea. When it talks about annihilating the wicked, he doesn't have to take on an avatar. When this guy Hiranyaksh was actually greed personified avatar. Greed personified means it keeps on increasing. The other day we were talking about greed never stops. So this guy used to continue to grow and become more and more and more and more powerful until, the Devatas and Brahmaji went to God and prayed to him that we need to tackle this serious issue. And God said, all right, I will do that. I will take on an avatar. And then he came in and then he put the Bhudevi inside the water. Just think about it. If our earth is submerged in water, living will not be sustained, right? So then God said, I will take care of it. He came in as a Vara avatar. So if you look at the Vara avatar, finally, what he do? He put the earth out and on his nose and took it out of the water. That is a picture, you can Google it up, right? That comes. And even at that time, they used to call it Bhugol. It took science to figure it out pretty later on, right? Those heliocentric theories and all were floated, whether world is flat or world is round, until Columbus said, okay, it took a while for humans to figure it out, but in our scriptures, it was referred to as Bhugol long, long, long back. So Varavatar, when he came, Hiranyaksha was, of course, very, very, very powerful. And then they fought. And when they fought, the galaxies shook. It was like nothing like the Star Wars that you would have seen. It was like a intergalactical, kind of a Star War where everybody was on the edge of their seats. Sometime Vara was overpowering Hiranyaksh, sometime Hiranyaksh was overpowering Vara, like an India-Pakistan match. You don't know who's going to win, right? People nibbled their nails and they were like, what's going to happen in this one? Because it took years and years of that fight. It seemed like a battle between the equals. That is what God was doing. And when it continued and continued, and everybody was anxious and they were on the brink of a nervous breakdown, you know what God does? He just taps him under the ear and Hiranyaksha is gone. So why did he do all that drama for so many? Only God knows. Okay. I have a theory. He gives, like, when you go for a movie and you don't get the thrill, you say, what a waste. You do paisa vasuli, right? You need that. So God does that as well. He gives you the full thrill return for money for whatever you are witnessing. He does the same to Ravan also. What if Ravan is killed in one arrow? It will not make for a good living, right? Viewing also. And Ravan would think, what happened, man? I came down just for one arrow. I took an avatar, Kal, and spent the whole time becoming such a big villain, and you are just doing a tap and I'm done. It's not worth it. So God said, okay, I will give you full what do you call that, vasuli, for what you think you are. So whatever your strength is, whatever your pride is, God makes sure that you get full return for that. And then finally he subdues it. He can do it in a snap of a moment, but that is not how he typically, even with the wrestlers in Krishna, he was fighting, and the mothers were, and the girls, they were like, oh my God, what's going to happen to this tender boy? These Chanur and Mashtuk, they look so ferocious and stuff like that. And God kept on fighting with them as if, he's struggling and this and that, and finally he just killed them. So yeah, he does that. He gives you the full return for your pride and whatever you think you are good at. And then he finally takes care of it. This is basically how he annihilates a wicked, and it makes for a good Leela as well, right? So many people, even after Ram Avatar has happened, we do Ram Leela, so many fights happen and all that stuff. So he creates all that drama. And when he does Nar Leela, he does extreme Nar Leelas. He goes to the extent of creating the full melodrama that he possibly can. Okay. And even with these villains, typically the ones that he kills, they are not ordinary people. Just think, God has to come to kill somebody, right? They have to be really, really special. And they are truly special. In fact, these were Jai Vijay, the gatekeepers of Narayan, who were cursed because they stopped the four Kumars, the Brahmaji's son, and they were cursed by them. But by the way, when they curse it, are you saying that they are not good at anger management? When they curse it, they are all part of the Leelas. Okay, when sages curse, it's part of a Leela. That is actually for their welfare. So they were cursed and they said that you'll have to go to Mrityulok. And they said that is not a fair deal. We can't go to Mrityulok. Okay, so he said, okay, I'll give you an option. You go to Mrityulok as for 7 lives as saints, where you can help people, or 3 lives as demons. Which one would you prefer? So they said, we will take the 3 lives as demons, because I think they were not very open for the idea of spending time here on Earth, right? With so many things going around here, global warming, COVID, and then Ukraine war and stuff like that. So he said, we don't have to deal with it. We will simply take avatars as villains, and that too, you will have to come down. So God said, all right, I will do that. So then they came as Ravan, Kumbhakaran, and I think 2 more avatars, Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashyap, and then I think during the Dwapar Krishna avatar, there was Shishupal, and I forgot his name. Somebody can tell that. Okay. So those 3 avatars took place. So when these villains come, they're part of the Leela of God. Yes, Annapurna ji, you wanted to add? You can share that. The name, maybe. That's what you wanted to talk about. You can bring in later, or you can type it in the chat. So they come in, and then God comes in. So God simply sends them back to his abode. So anybody that God kills, he simply sends them back to that is his rule. But these people were already coming from his abode only to participate in his Leela. So annihilate the wicked. And of course, he tells you, how if you live by unrighteousness, finally you'll meet your end. Okay, it is not good. He, of course, has to establish that principle as well, right? And they participate in that Leela. And the third one is to protect the righteous. God is seated in the heart of, so in order to protect the righteous, God doesn't have to take on an avatar. Okay, he comes actually so that he can reveal his leelas, participate and interact with his devotees, help them reach the next level. So during his avatar calls, a lot of people who are given an opportunity during his avatar calls are the ones who are in the tipping point of perfecting their devotion. So let's say you worship Lord Krishna or Lord Ram, right, in a certain bhav. And if you, let's say, did it in a Vatsalya bhav, maybe you will get the seat of Mother Yashoda in one of his, avatar calls. If you worship him in Sakha bhav, maybe you will come in as a Gopa, one of his friends who can play with him. And if you have actually worshipped him in Madhurya bhav, maybe you will come as one of the gopis along with the gopis who are already perfected it. So when he comes with his gang. Some of the realized souls, Nitya-siddh souls, or perfected souls come along with him. And in addition to that, the souls which are on the tipping point of perfecting their devotion also get a chance during his avatar calls to perfect their devotion and finally go back to his abode. It's kind of a simulation opportunity he gives you, okay, in non-production. And then the productionalization is when you go to Golok. So that is the idea where he protects the righteous, not only protects them, but also takes them and that fructification or the culmination of their journey of devotion takes place during his avatar kal. So many sages and saints are waiting for God to come. And then God avatar kal happens. That's when they get that opportunity. Think about Shabari. Her guru had told him that, when Lord Ram would come, one day Lord Ram would come and meet you, and that's when you can go back to God. And she kept on patiently waiting for him for 40 years. 40 years. Every day she would wake up with the same enthusiasm that today might be the day. She would clean up the entire path, and her sentiments, inspiration, and that belief did not dampen because Lord Ram was not showing up, because her guru had told her. So she said, today could be my lucky day, today could be my lucky day. And finally it happened after 40 years. So patience, one of the features or one of the good virtues a devotee should have is patience. We cannot demand, okay, I have been doing this, I need to see it. Nothing is happening. No. You patiently wait for God's grace. It will happen in due course of time. Think about the other ones, right? There were so many sages. Ahilya, for that matter. Ahilya, Lord Ram, through his foot dust, he liberated her, who was cursed as well. Then think about Shupnakha, who harbored Madhurya Bhav, even though it was a sakam, attraction towards God. Still, God, if you get attracted, God will give its result. He's like a parasmani. No matter in which sentiment you touch with God or take your mind to God, the result will always be auspicious. So in that avatar, he couldn't do that. But in Krishna avatar, he came back again. And then Shupnakha came in as Kubja, as a hunched lady. She was not good looking, pretty at all. And Lord Krishna said, hey, Sundari. He said, is he making fun of me? And then he just held her from the chin, tapped her, made her a beautiful lady, and then married her as well. So he made up for the fact that he could not do that in his Ram avatar. So he did it in his Krishna avatar. So God, only when he takes on an avatar can he accomplish such amazing feats for his devotees. And that is why he takes on an avatar. And all this is a facade, of course, for people who don't know the deeper secrets, who don't get into Rasik Bhakti, will not get to know that, right? For them, it's if you ask a Jnani, they say establish dharma, annihilate the wicked, protect the righteous. Okay, go by that and a full stop. But it's much deeper than that. Okay, that is why God comes. And it says Ram se bada Ram ka naam. Because Ram comes and goes. 11,000 years, I believe, he ruled. So he comes and goes. What about people who don't get the privilege of coming during Ram avatar or Ram avatar Kal. So Ram's Naam is bigger than, because God has done one more thing. He has put all of his Shaktis and all of his powers basically in his name. So that is how powerful his name is. So many people have uplifted themselves and changed their lives by saying Ram, 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 even long after he closed his pastimes. And same thing with Krishna avatar as well. So God, when he comes, he gives his Naam, Roop, Gun, Leela, and Dham. All these things he gives during his avatar Kal. Even if you think about Vrindavan with divine sentiments, you will get purified. If you think about God's Dham with divine sentiments, you will get purified. If you think about his gunas, attributes, you will get purified. You take his name, you will get purified with remembrance, of course. If you say pani, 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 water, 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 your thirst will not be quenched. But if you start saying Ram, 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 Krishna, 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 Om Namah Shivaya, with sentiments, it will start quenching your spiritual thirst. That is the power of God's name. So he has put all of his powers in his name, just for the benefit of us. And during his avatar calls, he said, okay, your mind loves variety. You get bored, I'll give you my pastimes also. And you don't have any basis to connect with me because you think I'm so big and you are so small. So I'll reveal my nature to you as well. Okay, through all the leelas that he does, that you can enslave me by pure, unbridled, selfless love. So all these things can take place or can happen only because of the fact that he's taken on an avatar. If he had not taken on an avatar, what's the basis for us to know God? Right? What's the basis for us to even to celebrate or build a connect with God? All right, so these are the deeper secrets about God's descensions. Now, the important thing here to note is, there's so many avatars that happen from time to time. Matsya avatar, Kurma avatar, Narsingh avatar, even Lord Shiva is a form, and it's an avatar of God himself. Narayana avatar, Ram avatar, all these avatars take place, right? And then the Krishna avatar, of course. I'm going to talk about Krishna avatar. Why worshipping Krishna avatar in the form of Krishna gives us a bit of, it's easier for the soul, so to say. I think the other day Seema was asking, do you have to end up in Krishna bhakti eventually? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. You have to work with your guru on that. In fact, the prem bhakti of Krishna is it's in Lord Shiva's feet. When the time would come, he may give a direction where you won't even imagine or know how that transition took place quietly, without any fuss at all in your mind. It can happen. Okay. Only Guru would know that, and Lord would know that when is the right time to move you towards prem, okay, towards Krishna prem, so to say, because that is where God manifests his loving leelas, right? In other avatars, he has a certain protocols that he maintains and lives up to that image, right, for his devotees. So let's talk a little bit about Krishna avatar. Why this avatar is a little special. All avatars of God are equal and complete in themselves. The first thing is, we cannot have bhed buddhi in God's avatars. If you say one is better, one is bigger, one is more powerful, that is called bhed buddhi. It is called a spiritual transgression. So first of all, weed that thought out from its root. All avatars are replete and complete in themselves. Okay, and all are equal because they are all God's avatars. So we cannot have a bhed buddhi. Bhed buddhi means discrimination or differentiation between the different avatars of God. And that is something that has to be completely stamped out from our thought process once and for all. So that is how it's meant to be. Having said that, and then form of God we get to savor in avatars. Let's talk about this Krishna avatar. Now in Krishna avatar, there are 4 madhuris which do not manifest. Manifest or jivatmas, they do not get to savor those madhuris in any other avatar. Okay, maybe God said, okay, I need to take an avatar where I reveal my everything to a soul, and that's where Krishna avatar becomes is very beneficial from a viewpoint of a soul. What are those 4 special madhuris which don't manifest in any avatar? Let's look at it. The first one is Roop Madhuri. He's got an exceedingly enchanting form, okay, Krishna's form. And exceedingly enchanting, there is no basis for us to know, right? We get attracted, infatuated towards material things, right? Long back, I think Rajesh Khanna used to be the superstar. He was, I was reading that every year about 2000 girls would marry him virtually, okay? And about 300, 400 letters written from blood he would get every day. I don't know what kind of a craze he was. He was probably the only star our entire industry has had. But we do get attracted, right, with ordinary people. And I think he was banned from wearing a particular thing during his lifetime. So he had a massive appeal. People would die basically for him. That was the kind of craze people would have. And okay, he's still an ordinary person. And on one of his birthdays, he had tears in his eyes. Why? Because not too long ago, people would come and scream and do that for him. And on that day, he was all alone. Nobody even showed up on his door on his birthday. So were they saluting that soul or the person or his position or whatever, what you call, however they related to him, right? He obviously looked good at that point. But the Madhuri, that Roop Madhuri we are talking about in, it's a divine sense. We get attracted to material things in our life. You can just imagine God, who's the epicenter of beauty, epicenter of pretty much everything that attracts you. What kind of form he would have. Okay. It says he can dwarf, or thousands of cupids would look insipid in front of him. That is how beautiful his form is, enchanting his form is. Okay, you can't tolerate that form actually. If you see that in front of your eyes, right, you will not be able to tolerate that. And he only graces you with a heart which can hold that form. Otherwise, you will simply disintegrate looking at that form, because you can't handle that much of pleasure looking at a particular thing. And that it's not like it's a form and now you've captured the entire beauty. It keeps on increasing. There was a painter, a saint rather, he tried to paint Lord Krishna. He said, okay, Lord, I want to, capture you. It's like we capture a photograph. He said, I want to capture you because your form is just like that. So Lord Krishna said, okay, be my guest. So he drew something and then he looked back. He said, no, you look even more beautiful. And then he said, no, you look. So basically you can't capture it. It's infinite. It keeps on increasing. It's difficult to understand until we get into those dimensions and realms. But his form is exceedingly beautiful. The Rupa Madhuri, people would get enchanted by it. Okay. Like gopis, I had given you an example when he would come back in the evening by grazing cows. After grazing cows, the dust from their foot hooves, and it would fall on his face, right? That form where his color is black. I mean, black means dark cloud. Roughly, from a material standpoint, we can't really imagine that color, even though he's black. But then he's more resplendent than billions of suns. How can both the things happen? So we can't understand. Don't think like black or dark like we see in this world. But then when that dust would fall on his face and gopis would look at it, they could not tolerate even that truti or nimesh, we call it, of that separation when they have to blink. They complained to Brahmaji that, first of all, you have given us just 2 eyes to devour this beautiful form. And then also you make us blink. That is not fair. So that is how exceedingly beautiful God is. And there are leelas where he looks at himself and says, oh my God, this is how attractive I look in his personal form. And there's a Radha Krishna Leela where Radha is saying Krishna and fainting. Krishna is saying Radha and he's fainting. That is how beautiful they look. So Roop Madhuri is the first one. The second one is called Bal Madhuri, right? The Bal Leelas that he has done, we know that. Stealing butter. Every mother in Gokul would secretly wish, although they would put on a drama that, he did this, he did that, he stole the butter, but they would secretly wish when they would churn the butter that Krishna, you know what, I'm churning this butter and I'm going to put it, and one day Krishna would come and he'll try to steal my butter. They would secretly wish that he should steal our butter. Okay, that is how naughty, enchanting form that he took upon. See, we get attracted to kids, right? Everybody gets attracted to kids. We go around, kids are innocent, they are sweet, and the way they talk, we do get attracted to kids. Just imagine if God has come with a purpose of giving that bliss to the souls, of being a kid, a naughty kid, playful kid, how enchanting that form would be, because God has come with that purpose only. And we get attracted to material kids, right? And now God has come only with the purpose of doing that purpose. So you can imagine the level of divine perfection it would bring to that particular role, right? And every mother would secretly wish to have Krishna as their child. So Krishna said, Tathastu, 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 and he fulfilled that wish when Brahmaji tried to test him out. During that Leela, during that time, he took on the form of his friends. And in those days, mothers were like, wow, he made them experience that bliss as well. So that was his Bal Madhuri. The third one is Murli Madhuri. So when he would sing flute, he would have a customized tune, not customized, personalized tune for each gopi. When he would come back, he would play the flute. When he did the Maharas, that tune pierced the hearts of gopis. And based on their level of gopis, they were so attracted towards Krishna. Some cared to put on the makeup. Some did not even care what they were wearing or if they're wearing anything at all. And some just ran. Okay, that is how enchanting and attracting that pull of that Murli Madhuri was. Okay, so he puts his Shakti into his thing, and then that pierces your heart and it is irresistible. If he chooses to do that, okay, then you can't even control that. So that Murli Madhuri is another thing that got revealed during Krishna avatar only. And then last but not the least, his Prem Madhuri, we all know, right? The Prem, he's the perfection or the epitome of Prem, how it should be or it needs to be. So, and gopis are the acharyas of Prem, right? So that was revealed, the selfless love and what truly love means. The 10th canto of Bhagavatam talks about that in great details. There's of course a lot of knowledge that needs to be fructified before you get into that part, but he was the perfection of love as well, right? When he says that even though I'm supremely independent, but then I become bhakta vashya, I get enslaved by God when he loves me selflessly, right? Ye yatha mam tans tathaiva yatha mam prapadyante tans tathaiva bhajamyam. He reciprocates as well in every sentiment and including love as well. So Prem Madhuri also he revealed during his Krishna avatar call as well. So the point here is all avatars are equal. Having said that, Krishna avatar is a little special in the sense that where he reveals his full form, right? Where he gives much more basis for souls to interact with him, build a personal rapport with him, and to consider him as boy next door. Okay, not somebody grand within Aishwarya Shakti. He said, consider me boy next door. Don't bring in the Aishwarya Chintan that I am so great and and you are so tiny in front of me, tiny and puny in front of me. And no barriers whatsoever. Okay, no barriers whatsoever. Consider me everything. That is essentially what Krishna avatar revealed. All right, with that, I'll stop. Any questions on what we have discussed? I've been speaking a lot, I guess, today.
Sandhya ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, Sandhya.
Radhe Radhe, not a question, but a comment. So I heard this from a saint. If you see Krishna, you will faint. If you see Radharani, you will die. Radharani is 10 million times more beautiful, more intelligent, and even more stronger than Krishna. And all Krishna's power and his enchanting qualities come from Radharani's Yogmaya power. I really loved it. I wanted to share this.
Thanks for bringing it out. That's true. So Krishna has distilled his personal form in, of the purest form, the kripa aspect of it, the prem aspect of it, the knowledge of everything in Radha, right? Both are same. So yes, that form is even more exceedingly beautiful. We can't even perceive, imagine. We can't see that. We can't tolerate that. Like Sandhya said, right? Krishna, if we see him, will faint. If we see Radharani, will die. Okay. That is why our antakaran has to be prepared for that. It has to be strong enough to hold that form. Right? Like they say, the lioness milk can only be held in a gold vessel. I don't know if somebody has tried to milk a lioness, but poets have used that as a nice metaphor and an analogy. Similarly, the divine love is so intoxicating and powerful that if you don't have a proper antakaran, you cannot hold it, and you can hold it only by God's grace. Okay, that is how exceedingly their personal forms are. So thank you for bringing that. Anything else? Or any questions on the avatars of God or why a God takes on an avatar?
There's a question in the chat. So are all the people elevated when God descends? Like, can they perceive God?
Not all. Not all. Where you have people who get attracted to God, like Shupnakha or other people, there are ordinary people as well, people like me there as well. Dhobi was there as well, right? Was putting question mark on Sita. By the way, Dhobi came again in Krishna Avatar call also. So Krishna was walking through, I think, Mathura or Dwarka, and then he came and Krishna boxed him. Dhobi was taken care of as well. So not everybody is elevated. Ordinary souls also get an opportunity, but they don't perceive God like some of the elevated souls do.
Like Duryodhan was not able to perceive.
True, Duryodhan was there, right? And even in Ramayana it says, Jaki rehi bhavana jaisi prabhu murat in dekhi taisi. So during Swayamvar of Ram, different people were perceiving him differently. So not everybody is elevated during the Avatar Kal. But yeah, the bridge people are special. People who get to enjoy the close association of Lord Krishna in Brij and Vrindavan, they are special for sure. They are special. Either they are on the tipping point of their bhakti, or they are already Nitya Siddh soul, or they have already perfected. They are already coming as part of the divine Leela that God is doing. Those are special people.
And follow-up question is, if God's body is divine, how can people see him with their normal eyes?
Okay, so God, through his Yogamaya power, facilitates that process for you. Okay, he can show himself as an ordinary people in front of you and do all the stuff that people do as well. But the fact is, his body is divine all the times. But by his Yogamaya power, he does all that stuff. Even his Yogamaya power, he will make you feel he's an ordinary person, like he used to make his friends feel, his mother feel. Otherwise, the ras in Leela will diminish. If they know he's divine, he's God all the time, that knowledge is at the back of their mind, right? Then that Leela will have no fun. So at that particular moment, when Yashoda Maya is wielding the stick to Krishna, Yashoda Maya is actually wielding it like a mother would do. Okay, she doesn't have that knowledge that he's God. And God also through his Yogamaya power makes him forget. So that the ras in that Leela is multiplied. So he's also scared at that time. Okay, my God, my mother is going to do that. That's a different matter. His Aishwarya Shakti comes and serves him. But that Leela time, through his Yogamaya power, he makes both the devotee and himself forget. So that Leela is truly happening in both letter and spirit, not just in letter. Okay.
Thank you, Nitinji. I see Urviji's hand.
Yes, Urvi.
Should we take? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe, Urviji.
Radhe Radhe. Actually, I wanted to ask, like, in this Dwapar, Krishna himself came, right? It happens only sometimes. So this is a special yug going on, special Dwapar, so special Kalyug. Is there something like that? Everything special?
Yes, possibly. That's a good way of looking at it. Yes, that's right. So yes, in one day of Brahma, Krishna takes a Purna avatar, in the sense that the Golok Vrindavan Vihari Krishna himself comes. Otherwise, in other Dwapars, he comes as an avatar of Vishnu. Okay, Vishnu is his own planetary expansion, but he comes in an avatar of Vishnu. So this was a special avatar, because I think the Braj Leelas are not revealed in all the Krishna avatars. So the one that took place 5,000 years back, he revealed those Braj Leelas as well. So that is why.
And okay. So I also wanted to know, like, there are so many souls, right, who want to become God realized. So they fall, like, end up taking different paths. So how did we hit such a jackpot that, I don't know, like, how can it happen? Like, among so many souls, we were chosen, and that too for the highest goal.
Sometimes you get that Black Friday sale. At least I got picked up in one of those sales. Maybe so Krishna Bhakti or some seeds were sprouted in one of our past lives. Something would have done good, right, in one of our lifetimes to deserve this kind of a thing. But yes, it's like hitting a jackpot for sure. If you think about it, it's like hitting a jackpot. You should just make the most out of it. That's all I can tell you. If you ask me personally, I don't think I was deserving enough, right? Until Swamiji sniffed us out of nowhere. It can happen, but God only knows. And that is why God is called all merciful Kripalu, right? The key thing is, if it has happened, are you able to, first of all, appreciate that? And then, yes, if you're able to appreciate that, are you going to make the most of it? That is more important, right? What if God has given us a scholarship like a student gets, and if we fritter away the scholarship, then no, first of all, he's going to preserve our spiritual merit, no doubt about that. But then that scholarship, we may not be eligible for it again and again and again, right? Maybe we may have to work harder in some other lifetimes. Things might not be served to us in a platter where, the knowledge is coming to our doorstep, the seva opportunity is coming to our doorstep, and pretty much everything is laid out in front of us. And then we say we don't have time, then there's no bigger loss than that. So we have to make the most of it.
Very true. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Radhe Radhe Sandhya ji, please go ahead. I have also one question, but you please go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
there are 2 questions in the chat. I'll just read them out. Did all gopis and people in Nandagaon talk among themselves about this enchanting form of Krishna in wonder? Are there any stories of that?
I think there are leaders Maharaji has written. I think they did not have a phone to gossip around about Krishna, but they would catch up. I think there are leaders that Maharaji has written where Sakhi is telling other Sakhi what happened and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure they used to converse and express what they feel for Krishna amongst each other. Right? There was one gopi who was telling, I was told and warned by other Sakhi that no matter what you do not look at the eyes of this guy. Okay, she was forewarned. But this dude, he comes and hits the pot. And when he hits the pot, he knows that this person is there and I've been warned. And for a blink of a second, her eyes meet this guy's guys. And that's it, the job is done. Right? He's called a Chittachur. So there are so many beautiful leelas Maharaji has documented around it. So they used to talk amongst themselves and they've been penned down very beautifully. And those are some of the leelas you can relish as well. If you read it through bhajans or otherwise. And Krishna has done it for our benefit only, not for his own sake. He's paripurna in himself. So it's like, help me help you. You perfect your devotion and then I'm all yours.
Awesome.
Yes.
There's another question. Why is God not here now? Is dharma more prevalent than adharma now than when the other avatars happened?
Yes, possibly, because God, this kind of an avatar where he does facilitates a mass thing like Mahabharata or, the Yuddha of Lanka warrants something much bigger than what is happening right now. So yes, there is enough Harinam right now. That is why probably that kind of avatar is not happening. Having said that, he still keeps on sending saints. For all you know, God might have taken an avatar as a saint or maybe as a servant of somebody in some place. You will not get to know. How will you get to know? Vidyapati, right? We know that story. Lord Shiv himself was serving him. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was Radha Krishna avatar himself. Right? So that's kind of saints do come from time to time. So God does take avatar, then he maintains a low profile. Okay, and only a specific purpose for which he's coming. But this kind of a grand avatar, like we spoke about Lord Ram, Lord Krishna avatar, it happens once in a while when things truly start going out of hand. We may think it is really bad, but from God's perspective, not yet.
Nitinji, there is a question in chat. In Braj, why did gopis or family members object gopis' love towards Krishna?
Isn't it normal? You start going to satsang, your family members will start objecting there as well. It's very normal, right? So yeah, if they have a material consciousness, they would of course object, right? Your family members will also object if you start doing a lot of Radhe Radhe and Hare Rama Hare Krishna, because their self-interest gets obstructed.
Yes.
Right? So that is the case. So if you think about Krishna, who is Krishna? He's Jagatpati. He's the Pati of your Pati as well. Okay. So in that sense, and he's more intimate to us than anybody else, right? He's privy to the thoughts that we don't even acknowledge to ourselves. So there's no matter of privacy or Krishna being somebody else, right? So when you have that Tattva Gyan, you will not object. But people who are in material consciousness or who would think that, my daughter-in-law has to churn the butter today or to cook the food, and now they're going to, wasting time thinking about Krishna and all, they would object to that because their material interests are getting obstructed. And that is very natural thing, right? In the world, when you go to start doing a lot of spiritual things, the material people will start becoming uneasy, because they'll think now this person will become Baba or something like that, because they have a limited understanding around this concept. Plus their self-interest is going to get harmed. Who's going to take care of me? What if this person leaves me? My son, my daughter, and all that stuff. By the way, on Father's Day, we are going to have a very interesting conversation on this topic. So don't miss out on that session. We'll do it day after tomorrow. Father's Day special, because 18th is a Father's Day. So we'll have a good discussion on this topic. And it'll make up for a very good, interesting discussions. Don't miss out on that session. So we'll talk more.
Yeah. Thank you, Nitinji. There is one more question from Vandana ji. She has asked that these days I am getting addicted to JK Yoga online sessions. I attend them in morning and evening. Will it be considered as Shastra Vasana?
So first of all, I'm very disappointed that you do it only in morning and evening and nothing in afternoon. Okay, maybe there are no sessions in afternoon. But yeah, it's a good thing actually, getting addicted to, see, even our scriptures say our ear should be like, we should have the capacity to devour, even a size of an ocean when it comes to Harinam or Ruchi, or your interest in listening about God or subjects related to God. It's a very good obsession, very good addiction to have. Okay. Having said that, Shastra Vasana is something where you keep on acquiring, books, reading this book, that book, anything and everything that you can lay your hand on, and not contemplating and trying to implement parts of it. But one of the symptoms of progression on the path of devotion is that your interest or your, the feeling that I need to hear more of it, that keeps on increasing. Right. And I think in Ramayana, he has said that make my ear such that, I keep on devouring your name. Like, even if an ocean worth of your name comes, I still crave for more. Such big ears you need. So it's a good addiction to have, I would say. Right. But if you're gathering knowledge, from everywhere, here, there, everywhere, and then getting confused, that is called Shastra Vasana. But this one, I won't call it as a Shastra Vasana. It's a good addiction to have. Swamiji himself has said that come to his, in face-to-face retreats and camps. That's the best thing you can do. Second best thing you can do is getting into a routine of these online sessions. He has actually referred to that in one of his SMX sessions. I heard that. And if you can't even do that, listen to some, or listen to his lectures, maybe a series you can play. And the contemplation along with it is important. But if you have sessions that you have built into your routine, that's a great thing to have. Swamiji endorses it big time.
Thank you for clarification, Nitinji. Also, I want to remind everyone that feedback tracker link is posted in the chat window. Please put your comments, feedback, questions, which we are not able to take it in the constraint of time. Please put it in the feedback tracker. Nitinji will personally take a look at it and will get back to you.
Thank you, Pallaviji. I think we can make the announcements. We are a little over, and then we move to our devotional segment. If there are anybody who wants to sing today,
yes,
maybe a couple like that. So you can make the announcements, and then we move to the devotional segment. You're welcome to stay back. The theory or the philosophy session is over, and we'll move to the devotional segment after that, after the announcements.
Yeah, thank you, Nitinji. I'll just make quick announcements. Definitely, first is about Swamiji's tour, which is going on. Right now, it is June 10th to June 15th, Fairfax, Washington. And from June 16 to June 18 onwards, Dallas Yoga Fest with Swamiji is going to start. I'll give more information on that. So JK Yoga's Dallas Yoga Fest, the highlights for this fest is themed yoga session, meditation and pranayam session, holistic health workshops, enlightening keynote by Swamiji, fun and games for children, holistic health marketplace expo, and health fair with a screening and consultation. So there's more for people who are present over there too. And virtually also we can learn a lot. Apart from that, healthy cooking contest at Dallas Yoga Fest. So this looks very interesting, and there's a lot more sustainability contest at Dallas Yoga Fest. I'm going to put all the links for these events so that you can get more information on that. And one more very important announcement is about Dallas Family Camp and a spiritual retreat that is going to start that is for the 7 days, and it will be from July 4th onwards for 7 days. So please do register yourself. It is online as well as in person. Do take advantage. Yeah.
Cooking contest, that sounds pretty interesting. So
and that too healthy cooking.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but it has to be tasty as well. Healthy and tasty.
Healthy and tasty, right?
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, I think a lot of interesting events lined up. Plus, I think there's a keynote speech by Swamiji as well on 17th. So do check it out, do participate, do share the words, help us spread the word around with your family, friends, and everyone. And then we have Father's Day celebration also coming up, I believe.
Yes.
Right? So, yeah. Great. Thank you so much, Pallavi ji, for the announcements. And now we move to our devotional segment. I think Kavita wanted to sing. And then Lakshmi ji has already raised her hand. So Lakshmi ji, please go ahead. And who else is going to, maybe you can raise your hand.
Lakshmi ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Yes, Lakshmi ji, and Urvi is going to sing as well. Awesome. Want to sing?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to song yesterday in the YouTube, just related to today's session. Radhe 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 Krishna, Radhe 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 Krishna, Yadalo Vrindavanam, Yamune Soyagam, Mate Muraliravam Bhama, Arinavevaram, Adigochupesharam, Aduge O Avalayam Bhama, Premante Radhiga, Radhante ni Premega, Krishnaya, Krishnaya, Tanalo Unna Pranamega, Ashaina, Swashaina, Lumutadami Chudamena Radha Radhe Radhe Krishna, Sri Radhe 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 Krishna. The meaning of this is, oh Krishna, your heart is like a Vrindavan, your beauty is like Yamuna, and your speech is a music out of your flute, your smile is a gift, your glance or your sight is like an arrow. Every step you take is a temple for us. Love means Radha, and Radha is only the Rao. And the Krishna hymn is just like life in you. The breath or the wish we have is nothing but the touch we get from Krishna and the intangible air that comes out of the flute while he's playing the music. Thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Lakshmi ji. You are progressing in high colors, basically, in Krishna devotion now. So wonderful. Very, very nice.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Beautiful. Yeah.
All right. So Pallavi ji is going to sing as well. So Urvi next, and then Pallavi ji.
Oh, my hand is raised from previous. Okay, but I can sing. That's not.
Okay, so let's take Urvi first.
Sing. Yeah.
Urvi, go ahead.
Go ahead, Urvi ji. Radhe Radhe.
Urvi is making her debut
Radhe
today. Go ahead, Urvi.
अपना पान रखना मेरे घनश्याम, अपना पान रखना मेरे घनश्याम, घड़ी घड़ी पल पल नाम तिहारो रटे मेरी रसना मेरे घनश्याम अपना पान रखना मेरे घनश्याम लाली लाल दैगर बाही लली लाल दो दैगर बाही हमारी ही बसना मेरे घनश्याम अपना पान रखना मेरे घनश्याम। राधे राधे।
Radhe Radhe Urvi. So beautiful bhajan and so well soulfully sung. It's such a nice bhajan and so very soulfully sung. Thank you so much for that. Awesome. By the way, your tracker, sorry, I forgot that. Tomorrow we do that, okay? If you're able to make it, we'll do that tomorrow. I know you've been working hard on that. Great. Awesome, Urvi. Pallavi ji, how about Kavita? She wanted to sing today as well. Kavita, you still there?
Kavita ji mentioned that she'll sing on Monday.
Oh, Monday. All right, no worries.
Yes.
You get more time to prepare in that case. Yes, Pallavi ji, go ahead. Last one.
Yes. Yeah. Beautiful, blissful bhajan, Urviji. This bhajan was a part of life transformation. Also, Swamiji sang this bhajan and we all followed. So it was lovely, lovely hearing it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm also going to present one. जग में सुंदर है दो नाम, चाहे कृष्ण कहो या राम, बोलो राम 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 बोलो श्याम श्याम श्याम। जग में सुंदर है दो नाम, चाहे कृष्ण कहो या राम, बोलो राम 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 बोलो श्याम श्याम श्याम। माखन ब्रिज में एक चुरावे, एक बेर भिलनी के खावे। माखन ब्रिज में एक चुरावे, एक बेर भिलनी के खावे। प्रेम भाव से भरे अनोखे दोनों के हैं काम, चाहे कृष्ण कहो या राम। जग में सुंदर है दो नाम, चाहे कृष्ण कहो या राम, बोलो राम 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 बोलो श्याम श्याम श्याम। एक राधिका के संग राजे, एक जानकी संग विराजे। एक राधिका के संग राजे, एक जानकी संग विराजे। चाहे सीता राम कहो, चाहे सीता राम कहो या बोलो राधे श्याम, चाहे कृष्ण कहो या राम। जग में सुंदर है दो नाम, चाहे कृष्ण कहो या राम, बोलो राम 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 बोलो श्याम श्याम श्याम। बोलो राम 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 बोलो श्याम श्याम श्याम। बोलो राम 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 बोलो श्याम श्याम श्याम। राधे
Wonderful, Pallavi. Outstanding and very appropriate for the discussion that we had as well, right? All avatars of God are same, Ram, Sham, whatever you called. Beautiful, very, very nicely sung.
Thank you for this opportunity.
You've got a microphone voice, by the way. If you
It's
hear,
a
right?
mic is here. That's
Oh,
why.
it's there. Okay.
Mic is there.
It goes with that for sure. Very nice. Wonderful, everyone. You wanted to say something, Lakshmi ji?
Nothing. I was just immersed. I was also swaying like how she was singing. Nice,
It's a,
Pallavi.
thank you, Lakshmi ji.
Great. So thank you, everybody, for another engaging session, and loved every bit of it. And we icing on the cake we get in form of our devotional segment, right? So thanks to all of you, Pallavi ji, Urvi, and Lakshmi ji,
Lakshmi ji.
for bringing in all the devotional elements into the singing today. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and don't miss out on the Father's Day special. We are going to talk a lot on that day. A lot of Tattva Gyan will get clarified today that day as well. And have a wonderful rest of your day and great rest of your evening. So I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same day tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Nitin ji, for this another awesome session. And
Thank
thanks
you.
to all of you. Stay blessed. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.